That was sick. Center axis don't, he's like, it's nothing.
I think we need to put a tune in this thing. Let's give it some power to show you how we really do burnouts.
I'm down with that.
We'll throw some E85 in it, throw a tune at it, and we'll do it again.
Love Steve Arpin. Steve Arpin's the man. One cool thing about living in LA and traveling through LAX is actually all the celebrity sightings you get to see, and like mad famous people traveling through this airport. Like this guy right here.
Oh, I was honestly trying to think about where you were going with that, because I'm like, there's nothing good about traveling out of LAX. Absolutely nothing. Look at this place.
This is a madhouse right now. Yeah, we're heading out to Steve Arpin's shop. He's gonna show us around. I think we get to mess around with this Ford Focus RS. Not as cool as the race car, but I don't know. Steve's a good dude.
Maybe we could con him into letting us drive the rally car again.
I think we might have to try that. Two dudes in a Jeep.
Powder blue Jeep.
Powder blue Jeep, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. What we are gonna talk about is my man Steve Arpin. Last time we hung out, Vin and I drove his race car. Steve's like, come out to the shop. I'll show you around, show you where the race car is built.
I'm excited to see Steve's shop, because last time we were out at, what track were we at?
Worldwide, wait, no, hold on. Worldwide Technology Speedway.
Yeah, so last time we were out with Arpin, he was showing us like how they actually developed all of these parts to fit the Focus RS/RX engine inside the Fiesta. And they were talking about like how they changed the chassis and how they actually had to like tilt the motor back more and create a new engine block and all this stuff. So I'm pretty stoked to see like where he does all of this like development and work, because that just seems crazy to me.
And it's not like an M Sport type setup. It's literally him and a couple engineers running his entire race program out of a small warehouse. We're gonna go check it out. We're gonna drive some cars, hopefully. And I'm just excited to see Steve. Steve's the man. Oh, hold on, I think this is us.
This is it. Should have known by the race car parked outside.
Okay. All right, Steve. With the entrance, with the shrubbery. This thing.
Is that the One Lap car?
Yeah, I think that's the thing you ran at One Lap of America.
In the early 1970s, Brock Yates, longtime editor of Car and Driver magazine, created the first ever Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash, a coast-to-coast race from New York to Los Angeles. He created the contest in protest to what he considered a loss to personal freedom in America, known today as speed limits. The race was influenced by the coast-to-coast record setter Irwin G. Cannonball Baker, an early 20th century pioneer in insane point-to-point racing. 5 cross-continent races, known as Cannonballs, were run between 1971 to 1979, and were the inspiration for 3 movies including Yates' own The Cannonball Run. In 1984 Yates replaced his coast-to-coast event with one that was more public and speed limit friendly, the Cannonball One Lap of America. Now under the management of Brock Yates Jr., the tire rack Brock Yates One Lap of America has become an annual competitive event, featuring a non-stop cross-country road trip for 2 drivers with no support crew, and only 1 set of tires, speed limits included. In 2006, Ken Block and Brian Scotto finished 45th overall in a 2006 WRX STI. I'd watch that buddy road trip comedy.
Steve!
Is that your Steve call? Oh, man.
Hey, it worked.
Oh.
You made it to North Carolina. Oh! first try this time. We are in the huge town of China Grove, North Carolina here. Kind of out in the little bit, middle of nowhere a little bit, but because of that we have way more space than we need, and we can do launch practice, we can do handbrake testing, we can do all sorts of stuff. You can see there might be some skid marks in the driveway.
He says this, but he's like, we're in the middle of nowhere, we can do all this stuff. There's a house right there. So I'm guessing your
There's a
neighbors
full-on
hate you.
subdivision. So wait, you talking about handbrakes and launches? I'm assuming that's going to be in this thing right here, this little gem.
Jared Taylor and myself, and then Pastrana and Marcus Luttrell, Bilko and Sheeny, we all did the One Lap of America event. We go to 8 different racetracks in 7 days, and you have to drive the car to each track, so it has to be street legal, and then you have to get on the track and perform all day long every day. And like over the course of 7-8 days, we put on 5,462 miles in this race car.
Ooh.
And believe it or not, Jared and I still talk after that. I don't know how.
That's kind of wild. You have to do the whole thing on one set of tires, right?
You have 1 spare, so
Ooh. One
you have
spare.
5 tires for the whole deal.
So you're doing track days, road tripping, probably some hooniganism.
There was no bump drafting on the highway at all. No.
So you have to do it all on one set of tires, and you ran these? Is this what you ran in competition?
These are the tires that actually ran the 5,400 miles, and there's still a ton of tread
Yeah, there's
left.
still meat left
I know,
on there.
right?
That's not bad.
Look at that.
400 miles and 7 track
Well,
days, essentially.
In all fairness, we did have some car troubles along the way. We might have missed some shifts. We might have tore up some transmissions. So we essentially did a lap and a half going to try and find spare parts to get this thing back on the racetrack. So
Nice.
Probably about 3,800 miles is what the rest of the guys did. We did a bunch more just trying to find parts.
Solid. So what's done to this thing?
I think they're right around 300 horse out of the box.
But it's all-wheel drive,
All-wheel
right?
drive.
6-speed.
6-speed gearbox in it. Cool.
That's a cool little hit. I like that. I like that.
So this has an intercooler in it. This has the downpipe, the intake, and then the rest of it. It's a high-performance car out of the
Yeah, so
box.
it's got big Brembos. And I was peeping inside too, and I noticed you had a friggin' handbrake in this thing.
Well, I'm a rallycross guy, so we have to have the drift stick.
Look at it gleaming in the sun. Oh my God, that
It's
looks
glorious.
Ah, it's so nice.
It's an electronic handbrake, so it does take some getting used to. You can't reef on it like we do in the real rallycross car, so it takes some just calming down and some finesse on it, but it's pretty effective.
What do you think this thing makes power-wise with all the mods now?
Well, it all depends what tune we have in it, right? But in a road tune and a factory tune, it's probably right around 350.
Is that what's going on here? You said you got a road tune, a track tune.
So when we were doing this deal, we had to drive this car to and from every racetrack on the highways and everything. And so we needed like a road tune just to get to and from the racetrack, and we didn't want to stop. We had like 8-9 hours of driving every single night, so we wanted to make fuel stops as minimal. So we went for fuel economy on the highway, and then when we got to the racetrack, we put a track tune in it, and it jumped up to easily over 400 horsepower with these SCT units.
Damn,
it's pretty wild.
Yo, modern cars, man.
It's great.
400.
It's great. And then get fuel economy. That's like the best thing ever.
Can we pop the hood? Can we see under there?
Absolutely.
I love how we're so ADD. There's an entire race shop all up in here, and we're like, no, car first.
You gotta look at the car. So cob intake, exhaust, and then assuming it has some form of tune.
Well, with all these upgrades to it, it allows us to put a way more aggressive tune in. We'll put like an E85 tune in it.
So
we
is
should
that-
go for
it
a
gives-
ride a little bit later. I'll show you what it does.
So you could do like dual map, or is it flex fuel?
You can switch the maps with it.
Oh, sweet.
We were switching maps at gas stations and everything along the way, depending on what kind of fuel we could find at the gas stations in
Oh,
each state.
That's actually pretty
You
sick.
can run E85 and stuff.
Yeah, depending on what fuel we had. So if we found E85, we could have a new map flashed in and ready to go by the time we finish pumping gas.
Let's hear this thing.
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, hold on. Hold on. Do you hear that blow off?
You like that?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's got some poppies in the back.
It's got some spice.
So the coolest part here, so we just have a road map in it right now, right? So we're not going to be building all that much boost, but the this is their GTX unit. This will give you all the data and everything you're doing on the road.
Race car.
We're going to throw an E85 tune in this thing.
Do you have to drain the tank for E85 or?
No, we'll just dump some in it.
Well, you put the E85 in, you do the center axis donut to then, you know, mix it all up. Shakes it up in the tank.
So we're going to put an E30 tune in. So this will be like a mix of E85 and 93 octane.
There's an E30 tune in here. Honestly, this is kind of wild, man.
Well, we're gonna have to get a new set of tires before we do another race with this thing, so I figure we may as well just do everything we can to kill these ones completely.
Dude.
Before Toyo sends us a new set.
You're speaking the language right now.
So the first thing it did is it got rid of the factory tune and stored that, so when we want to get boring again, we can go back to that. And now it's putting just power. It's putting a tire shredding tune into this thing right now.
How excited are you getting right now?
I am chomping at the bit.
How is it that we are like 3 man-sized children who are just waiting to do burnouts that we've done in so many different kinds of cars before, but it's like it's Wednesday, so we gotta do them again.
There's no two same burnouts.
That is very true.
Every burnout is its own burnout.
That's right.
That is very true.
Oh, we done.
Throw some fuel in it, go have some fun.
Steve, what kind of high-tech gas can
Being that we're here at a race shop, you would really,
Technology
that's the level
right
of
here,
technology
right?
I would expect.
So hold on,
Actually,
mix the fuel, Vin. Mix the fuel.
Oh, we're mixing fuel?
We're mixing. That's ready.
We're so done.
See how much more power it has?
You're gonna run into a shrub.
Yeah, that dip.
Woo! Oh man, this is great. Just even before we go inside, Steve's already. I don't know.
Can you feel that power with that?
That was
tuner?
wild. Even out on the road, it goes through
Absolutely.
gears so much quicker. This thing's fun, man.
I dig it.
I'm into it.
Let's go see what else you got going on here. Look at this shot!
So this is where we do it all. So we had a huge project at the start of this year, we got the old RSRXs there, one under the cover, one tucked in behind. We had a huge job transplanting all the good stuff out of that into our Fiestas. So we had the cars up on the chassis plates and everything.
Which, let's talk about that really quick.
Precision is everything. The attention to detail that has to be in these cars, the level of competition that we have is crazy. So every little thing has to be exact. And then the biggest thing for that is repeatability. Once you build something once on the plate, you want to be able to build spare parts, build everything that just bolt right on, so we can repeat everything easily. So everything's built here. This is absolutely flat, perfectly. We consider this the starting point of a jig. You can see lots of the holes that are drilled in it and threaded. We'll bolt lots of our fixtures to it. And we got this, and then we got a fixture table. So when we want to build stuff, build bumpers, everything, this is the exact same thing. We just got a grid here of all the holes drilled, threaded, and everything. All of our bumper jigs, suspension jigs, all the parts that we want to build and make it a lot more convenient to be up here and working, not bent over. They'll all get bolted to this and built up. Over here is basically where all the fine detail work happens. All the parts get in here. Go Safety Clean gives us some of the best parts washers in the business. Everything gets gone through completely here, rebuilt here. We have a small portable Magnaflux machine that we use over there just to try and catch cracking and everything ahead of time. This is where we do the clutches, gearboxes, differentials, the handbrake releases. Each upright, each corner of the race car gets gone through every single week. this is the car you drove earlier this year.
It is.
Wait, there's one addition that I don't think was on that car. Is this what I think it is? Is this the cutest little mirror I've ever seen? Is this real? What the hell does this do?
I tend to get too close to tire stacks on the racetrack, and I tear them off every week. And my guys got so sick of buying new mirrors that upstairs in the carbon room, we have a carbon room now, right? And they just built these little throwaway mirrors.
That's
essentially.
amazing. Is this like a little makeup mirror that you like pocket makeup thing?
Subaru was trying to protest us over these because they weren't the stock appearing mirror, so they were trying to get us disqualified at.
What a bunch of party poopers!
Right, I know.
Steve should homologate those mirrors and put them on every car he owns.
You have to patent it. My little pocket mirrors.
My little pocket mirror. So this is the old spec. This is what we raced Fiestas 15, 16, 17. This year we made it a lot cooler under the hood.
Hold on.
I was gonna say, real quick.
There's that. And you can get a lot more airflow into all types of different stuff.
And then you guys developed all of this stuff, right? Because this is all like home brewed carbon work,
So
right?
this all started with YouTube videos, and
Were you watching us?
well, let me rephrase
Bad
that.
Daddy Bratty.
This all started with getting quotes on what it would take to have a carbon shop make us a bunch of carbon stuff.
Oh boy,
And
what would
we-
this cost to make?
And we
just
just
these
cried.
3 ducks.
Just the time and everything that goes into making the molds and everything is
Right.
crazy. You'd probably be up around $70,000, $80,000 just
Holy
for the
crap.
ductwork under this hood. We have one of the most talented fab guys. He's actually our shop manager too. We call him Shaggy. His name's Kyle. He is a gem. He got on YouTube and he's like, well, God, if they're going to charge us that much to do carbon work, I'm just going to figure out how to do it myself.
Wow.
So we cleared out the attic for him.
Is that where they're hanging out? They're making carbon up there, aren't they?
Could be a mold of yours. It's a really small oven.
Oh!
Carbon fiber is a synthetic fiber with a micrographite crystal structure that was first developed and used by Joseph Swan in 1860 for light bulb filament. After going into industrial production in the 1950s, this lightweight shapeable material has since been combined with other carbon chains to form a tough composite, boasting 5 times the strength of steel, with high chemical and heat resistance. While it's more expensive than traditional metal materials, carbon fiber has become popular in nearly every commercial industry, including aerospace and military applications, due to its toughness, lightweight, and flexibility. Carbon fiber is made when long strands of raw materials are drawn and exposed to incredibly high temperatures without oxygen to prevent burning. The atoms inside of the fibers vibrate and expel any non-carbon components. The resulting fiber polymer can then be combined with other graphite materials for high thermal resistance. Currently, the carbon fiber market has been projected to reach $6.36 billion by 2025, with the increase in applications growing nearly by the day. Invest early is all I have to say.
Hey, so I see a trend here. You guys say you're small budget, but you got custom-made signs for everyone's department.
Absolutely.
We don't even have name plaques on our desk.
It's like the world headquarters for Carl's transmission shop in there, 24/7, because these guys work crazy hours. And up here we got Shaggy's She Shed.
That is a cute sign. What's up, Shaggy?
What's up, man? How are you?
Let's go.
Good. Is this where you guys store your like venison jerky and stuff? Like
I was gonna say, it definitely
meats,
looks like a
various
meat
meats.
refrigerator.
This is our pre-preg. Usually there's ice cream in there, but
Whoa!
Damn it.
we work with this stuff. It has a resin built into it already, and then we lay it in and bake it in our oven.
So you start with like dry rolls of carbon,
Right.
and then pre-preg is when you put additives to the carbon.
Basically, the two sides of that rack, the back side of it is more for building the molds.
Okay.
Which is, this is your actual cloth.
So you just like take your resin and spread it all over that once you get it laid up, right? Just like traditional fiberglass work would be.
So this is this is a finished mold. And this is after basically about 7 layers between fiberglass and carbon. It's a 2-piece mold. We'll lay it in with our pre-preg, which is kind of like laying a sticker.
Like because you need to get all of the resins into the fibers before.
You don't have to. There are different ways to do it. For racing, it seems to be the best way to go because it's such less resin than any other way that it's
Oh, okay,
light.
yeah.
It's a lot lighter and it's stronger. So it's not the prettiest way to do it, but it does make a really good part for racing.
Some of the other stuff, Shag, you can go through this, what the process is here.
it's a plug, and this is built of the high density foam, and then it gets Bondo, and then it gets a gel coat, and you sand it and shine it up, and this is kind of part of the release film.
So I don't think he's giving himself any credit here, because basically what this is a whole bunch of layers of like 1-inch thick foam that came in big squares that he started building stuff up under the hood of the car, and he knew he had to get from point A to point B. And so he just glued it together, cut a piece, glued it together, cut a piece, glued it together. It looked like Legos. It was all just
okay,
because
I was going to say, how did you get this shape?
And then he just started sanding it down, shaping it, putting Bondo in places here and there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was the process, the amount of hours that went into just this piece. And all he's building this for is to build another mold off of this, right? That's the only thing this is used for.
So you got your carbon fiber engineering degree from the University of YouTube.
Yes, that is correct.
You learned all this from YouTube, and now you're making molds that end up in these parts. Dude, that's pretty sick.
Dude, that's
honestly.
impressive, man.
Isn't that cool? And this is the old scale rack. So you've seen the new and improved one downstairs. This is now our oven.
It's our oven.
So you got...
What'd you do to make this oven?
Gutted it mostly, and then basically just stuck the heating element in a heat controller on the side of it. We plumbed a $140 Amazon vacuum pump into it.
So this used to, sorry to interrupt, this used to carry scales.
Yeah,
this box.
It came to the racetrack with us every weekend.
And
then
now
you-
it's an oven.
Scales. Now it's an oven.
You guys engineered an oven to engineer carbon fiber. Man, that's awesome. So you guys,
I love this.
Just so much repurposing. That was a crate that parts got shipped in. This used to carry scales.
This was an attic.
This was an attic. Now it's a carbon fiber shop.
It's really rad to see like a pretty attainable shop produce such an insane product.
Right,
You know?
at least in comparison to, you know, like
Yeah.
a factory team, which when we went to Audi, for example, everything there is unobtainable. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure the soap that they use, we couldn't even afford for hand soap.
So from my standpoint, so I'm a driver and a general manager of this race team, right? So I used to be hands-on building race cars, but I'm far from it now. So when I, as a team manager, forget the driver side, but when we go to the Canada ARX race, when we're there racing with the WRX guys, and I get to see the quality of the product that all those World RX teams are putting out, and I see the quality of the product that our little race team here is putting out at Loenbro, it's like the most proud moment in the world, because I would argue, I would put our stuff, our workmanship, our quality up against any rallycross team in the world as far as having top-notch stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I could see that.
So this is my office, or my desk, our office, and this is Carl, who has to be the most patient.
Vinny, what are you...
Are you killing my scooter already? So that was part of one lap. So because we had to have everything self-contained, we had to do track walks when we got there in the morning. It was such a long night that we wanted to get there as late as possible. So we had to buy little scooters because we didn't have room for bikes.
Way
So this
over
is
it.
my desk. This is where I work on all the business end of this program and everything, trying to keep the funding in here, everything we need. Just everything on the business side of it. Carl and I share a desk next to each other. Carl does
What's up, Carl?
all of the... Carl has this counter, so I haven't been told what it's for yet. So since we've been back, I've done something stupid 30 times. Or said something stupid 30 times. I just don't know what the criteria is for getting a clip. But for this man to sit next to me, he has to be the most patient man. And they always say that the best engineer has the messiest desk because they're always just got parts everywhere trying to find solutions for everything. So as you can see, we have a damn good engineer here.
I don't know what any of this is for, but it all looks very, very important. General motorsport term. No flipping good. I think that's what that means.
This was the piece that
Oh!
ultimately, so our guys like googly eyes on everything, right? But Tanner,
Oh!
I love you, bud, but this hurt.
Tanner!
Tanner Faust.
Oh, we're gonna have a
This
word.
was going into the hairpin turn at Texas. Either he came in a little bit harder, or maybe I didn't go in hard enough. But either way, that's why we have that new rear bumper.
Wow.
That turned into the cutest exhaust pipe ever.
Isn't that cute?
It's an impressive setup you got going on here, man. It's really cool. All the stuff that you're doing out of this. I mean, it's a fairly big warehouse, but in race car like shop terms, it's a pretty small setup. So to be doing what you're doing, It's sick, man. We're inspired.
I appreciate it, buddy. We are in Charlotte, North Carolina, so this is like the heart of NASCAR country. So when you see some of the other shops around here, this may appear big, but this is one of the smallest ones around.
What else you got going on? What do we expect from you for 2020?
We got a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of things. The sport of rallycross is getting built back up in a big way. So there's some new things that are in the works. We're going to be a big part of it. But there's a lot more than 2 rallycross cars in there, right? We only raced 2 this year. So I would say that might be a big teaser of what we got going on next year.
All right, cool. Secrets.
Oh my God.
It's me and Vin. We're racing ARX. You'll see us out there on the track. I'm just kidding. I think the only thing that's teased out.
Fuck, I thought that was a surprise you told me I came out here for.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vin. But hey, we still got this thing. I kind of want to go for a few more rips in this thing. This thing's super fun.
Let's do it.
We go do that?
Barbecue?
All right. Barbecue. Rips in the
We are in
Focus.
North Carolina, so we have to get you guys some good old North Carolina barbecue for lunch today.
I'm super game. Do we wrap these? We wrap these things, right?
I don't know if we wrap them.
I don't know if we wrap them.
Should we scream that's a wrap?
We should scream that's a wrap. That's a wrap! Number 1 sign of a car that's been road tripped in, right? I just spotted this. Number 1 sign of a road trip car is one of these.
Because you know that's from beef jerky.
You know that's from beef jerky!
Hand us some beef jerky.
No, every time. There's so many of these in road trip cars. Do not eat